triple dummy. Ew. Welcome to sunny, wintry Lower Creek. This is Dyke River Dye Works podcast 4. Oh, look how sunny it is! Oh my god! If I flare out, I apologise, but yeah, it's sunny. I'm Kay. You can find me on Ravelry as Andelaine Kay. You can find me here on YouTube as Dyke River Dye Works. You can find me on Facebook as Dyke River Dye Works, and on Instagram as Andelaine _K. So that's Andelaine, ANDELAINE. As somebody had just pronounced it last week as, how do they say Lane magazine? Liner? Underliner? I could underliner. There you go, Andelaine. I'm going to be showing you some crochet, some knitting, quite a bit of knitting, and spinning, fluff. I've got some fluff. I've just joined the Tour de Fleece as a rookie. Hopefully with what I spin up, I'll turn that into a jumper. Maybe a cardigan. I think a cardigan. I wear a lot of cardigans, so I'm spinning up merino for a cardigan. What else? A little bit of artwork. I know I've shown you quite a bit of artwork in previous podcasts, but this time it's mostly knitting. So yay! Grab a cuppa, grab a friend, and let's get into it. I hope your winter solstice or summer solstice was beautiful. Did you knit in public on Worldwide Knit in Public Day? Considering there's only forest here, I knit outside. Maybe knitting in public here means knitting with wildlife and wood sprites. I don't know. Did you celebrate Pride Month? The celebration of all things inclusive and rainbow, which I think is a fabulous thing. What has happened here? Now that we had some, we did some kitchen renovations. We have a kitchen bench in, which is great. We've got a marble bench top, which is fabulous. My husband made the the carcass for the bench and all the drawers and the drawer fronts, and we had some rehomed marble. It was a marble bench top from an old school home ec centre, so I scored that, and now it's our bench top and splashback, and it's fabulous for making pastry on. Yes, really good. What else has been happening? I'm just looking down here at my show notes. Oh, you probably hear that. Show notes being really high-end, back of an envelope. Actually, it's an envelope that has some buttons in it for a cardigan that I'm making. We've dug up a garden patch. I'll take some photos of it later. Quite a large garden area, and I'll be planting seeds for dye plants, which is exciting. looking forward to that, and my husband's actually looking forward to. He gets into the chemistry. He's the brains trust, and he'll be helping with formulation, I suppose you'd call it, of dye stocks. The plants that I'm getting are woad, indigo, weld, all things wood. What else is there? Oh, some tansy, some dyes, chamomile, marigolds, a lot of plants that I'm not really familiar with, but I'll be excited to see if they grow. I know the woad grows here. I've grown that before as an experiment, and it grew wonderfully, so I'll be putting some more of that in. And I found out that I can dye with gum leaves. And considering we have, across the road and all around us, eucalypt forests, there's a wealth of colour just across the road. So I'll be experimenting with that. Now, what have I been up to since I last spoke to you? I've been doing lots of knitting, lots of crochet, and spinning. I've joined, I think it's on Ravelry, and the Knitting Expat, and Hey Brown Berry, and Grace O'Neill from Babel's Travelling Yarns. They're all doing, and quite a few other people, lots and lots of other people actually. I've drawn a blank. What is it? Tour de Fleece. Yes, it's in there. Just got to get it out. Tour de Fleece. And so I've been hitting the spinning wheel, and my plans with the spinning is to eventually spin up enough yarn to make myself a cardie. Now, yeah, it might be a bit ambitious, I know, but I'll give it a go. Give it a go. So far, I've done 100 grams of some fibre that I bought. I've bought quite a bit of fibre, which I've got some here, and I'll spin that up and make my own cardie, which is good. And I've almost finished knitting. I'll show you this first. I'll call it, it's my Happy Scrappy. Oh, excuse me. My Happy Scrappy cardie. Now, it kind of fits in with Pride Month, unintentionally, but I'll zoom back a bit. Now, I thought I was being clever. Ooh, okay. I thought I was being clever and making up a pattern on my own. Now, when I was at uni, one of their mantras was, "There are no new ideas," which annoyed the shit out of me, because there has to be a new idea. Somebody has to have a light bulb moment and think of something new. Otherwise, how do we progress? I know we can progress by adding to already existing ideas, but it just annoyed me. Anyway, I thought I was having an original thought, and I'll make this up as I go along and make a cardie and knit from one sleeve across the body and across the back and down the other sleeve. And I thought I'd do bands of stockinette and pearl. I thought it was good. Yep, okay. And then I'd knit across the front, do this provisional bit here. Oh, back to front, front to back, in yellow. Unravel that, pick up the stitches like I've done with the neckband, do a white or white-ish around there, and then across and around the bottom. Turns out, as I went hunting, as I was about 80% through, that somebody sorted this before, and you look it up on Ravelry and it's all there. Good on me, yay! But they didn't use these yarns. These yarns are all yarns that I've collected. This is stash diving of variegated yarns of various types, solid colours. I find this one is probably a cotton acrylic. That one's pure acrylic. That's cotton acrylic. That, don't know, I think it's wool. Cotton acrylic. That's wool. Wool. A woolly wool. And likewise with this one. And blends of. This one is got, I think, a silk in it because it's got a sheen to it. Yeah, it's just deep stash and leftovers, and it's my happy scrappy. I don't know. I don't care. I don't mind colours, and I've got enough left probably to do another happy scrappy. I'm considering going all out and doing matching beanie, gloves, and scarf. You reckon it's overkill? Nah, never have too much colour. So that's my work in progress. And with this, my work in progress, it's just about finished. And it fits. I didn't make it extra big. It's not big. My body dysmorphia, I just, no. In my show notes, I'll just bend down here. I have a deep stash dive. I have a button collection, as you do. Just a minute. Here. It's gazillion different types of buttons. That's my button collection. Excuse me, I'll just come back. I have, this will be my top button. Oh, there we go. It's a couple of hearts. I think they're so cute. And it goes with my, for me, it means hearts. I have a heart problem that I'm getting over. So, heart of hearts. And purpley one with a bit of texture at the top. A blue one with a bit of, get out of the sun, get out of, no, there we go. It's a blue one, and it's got sparkles on it. Yellow stripy one, there we go. Oh, back the front, yeah. Orange, and green. So it's basically a rainbow of buttons. Are they too big? Are they too bright? Are they too colourful? Do I care? No, I don't care. So there you go. That's the first work in progress. Second one, I'll go this way, is the Wood Warrior pullover, sweater, jumper from the Spring Pom Pom magazine. Now what I've done is basically from the top to, I've separated out from the sleeves, and there's that fabulous raglan increase with the fern-like pattern on it. And this is made out of a 100% wool Peyton's stash from probably 1960s. And it has a, tweedy look to it. It looks like the yarn has white fibres blown into it as it's being spun. Every so often you see a slubby bit of just undyed or white fibre, but the halo has white fibres to it. So it's interesting and it feels fabulous. So I think when that knits up, after it's washed and blocked, I think it'll be lovely. And I have my section. I've got this. The yarn is in here on eBay. It was quite a large yarn tote. I'm looking for a ball band. Oh, there we go. I lied. I'm sorry. It's not patents at all. It's made in Australia. It's just go over that way. Yes, it's just double knitting. In the days when branding wasn't that important. 25. Well, it's 25 grams. When did we go to metric? I don't know. So maybe whenever we went to post metric. 100% wool. So there you go. I was talking about this. This online. It came with quite a large bucket bag as well, quite large, and like a Notion's pencil case size bag as well. And what I do is stuff that full of yarn and just pull it out the top. Quite convenient, stops the cats rolling things around the floor. Yeah, I'm also knitting this Wood Warrior on God knows what size. 4? No? 4.5 needles. Yeah, that's the only way I can do it. I can't read the whatever the printing on the needles is just way too small for me. High sharps. Love high sharps. I love them. Love a sharp tip. That you know what I mean. Right. Other work in progress. Oh, remember I was talking about socks? I was knitting some socks using the Sockmatician sock recipe. I can't do it. I want to knit a pair of socks. Oh, that's all I want to do is just knit a pair of socks. And I want to swear, I can't do algebra. A equals this number, B equals that number. As soon as I see a number, zzz, crickets, I just turn off. So this mess here is as far as I've got with my Sockmatician socks. Now I've got these on Chow Goose, and I've done the heel. Can't do it. I've done the heel flap. I think 4 times, and each time I've had to rip it out. As you can see, it's all wound around the ball. Rip it out and start again, because the heel flap will be off to one side, or it will be, one of them was really big, so my numbers were way out. The other one was really small, and the 4th one was off to the other side. So each time, I just rip it out. And no. what I'll most likely do is continue to knit and knit a tube and look at doing afterthought heels. It's funny that I have more confidence in knitting an afterthought, doing an afterthought, like cutting my knitting and doing an afterthought heel, than I have of actually doing a heel flap and gusset from somebody else's recipe. With this, I just knit, and the arm was way too long, and you can see the different types of tension from the different types of yarn. The arm was way too long, and it was knit from the cuff up, and I had to correct it, and I wasn't going to pull it all out, so I just cut it off and knit from the shoulder back down to the cuff and corrected it. Not a problem. So that's what I'll probably do with the socks, is just cut it. In frustration, not being able to do a heel flap and turn, I decided I'll go from the, they were from the toe up. I decided I'd go from the cuff down and have a go at that. Now I've got the yarn twisted around everything. Whatever. Rose City Rollers. I thought I'd have a go and just follow the pattern, and everybody has said that that pattern is really easy to follow, and considering that I've managed to actually do it, it must be really easy. And look, I've actually done a heel flap and a gusset. Oh my god! And I turned the heel, and I'm down now onto the foot. Now you can see this. Rose City Rollers have a little rolled top. I just brain, thumb and bum, mind in neutral, just started knitting a rib top, and even before I've done anything, I've buggered it up. So I just kept knitting, and it actually fits my foot a lot better. So, but I've only got one sock. I've only got one. I have to do all of this again. I did say second sock syndrome is real. But, and again, this is on higher sharps, and where is my needle gauge? I don't know what size it is. Where did I put that? Don't know. Anyway, it was here. You saw it. You saw it. It was here. Don't know. I have a vintage one. Right here. That tells me that they are size 12. Don't know. It's a vintage needle gauge with inches on it. So, whatever country size 12 is, I don't know. Don't know. It's a knitting know-it-all. Oh, there we go. So, Rose City Roller sock, half of, living in my Toyota headrest sock bag, as is my tube socks. They're now tube socks in my Toyota headrest, the other Toyota headrest. Right, so, and we're back. Now this is a remake. It's was based on, is it the Bohemian vest? I've crocheted this in a DK weight because I wanted something a little bit warmer. I've added sleeves. There's lots of patterns of circle vests and that sort of thing out there. This one I saw an old doily pattern and modified it, just made it a lot bigger. So see if we can. Okay, I've added kimono sleeves because I use this as basically a dressing gown. Yeah, so that way, let me see if I can turn around and show you the back. Is that it? I can't see. There we go. Where are we? Yeah. There. In all its glory. Glory point. And I can half of my hair. There we go. Yes, my version of a bohemian circle vest. Right. Oh, there we go. And here we are, back again. I waited a little while and had some lunch until the sun had moved off to one side a little bit more. It was just a little bit flary. I think I might just move on to a little bit of knitting, a lot of knitting. I mentioned I was going to make the sparkling cider beanie from Vine Yarns. I started, and as normally, I couldn't stick to the pattern, so I unraveled it all, and I made another one, another beanie. I held some vintage mohair with some other vintage yarn, which I think also had maybe a little bit of fluff up my nose. Oh, hazards. And I made myself another beanie. I wanted it to be quite thick, so holding the two together worked out to be like a, what's heavier than a DK? Is it worsted or Aran? 12 ply, somewhere thereabouts. And you can see the mohair was white and it's still flaring. There we go. And the yarn that I held it double with had bits of aqua and blue and white in it as well. And it's turned out to be quite a thick beanie and a bit slouchy, but with my here I go being an octopus again. Can't help myself. Oh my god. It's a lot better fit. I don't know. Can you see the back of my head? Yes. What I was going to do was actually going to put a massive pom-pom on it, and I was looking online, I think at Etsy, for a massive pom-pom. I wanted an aqua blue one or a blue one or somewhere in that ilk, but being me, I'd ordered one and I couldn't wait to get it, and when it turned up, it was the wrong colour. It's a fact, I love the colour, I really do, but I was looking forward to my aqua bluey colour, and this monster turned up, and so I have to make another beanie, which is not a bad thing. So I'll make a beanie to complement the colours of this, and I'll actually buy online and take care of what I'm clicking on. Just watch, and order one of an appropriate colour. But I've I've always made my own beanies before, never bought one before. It's one of those, the cats love it. But it's stuffed. It's a ball that's stuffed. I always wondered how they actually made them quite so large. But yeah, it's stuffed. And this is faux fur poms. It contains one pom, and it comes from the US, but I'm sure I got it from an Australian store. Anyway, note to self: be careful what you click on. So that's my eel. I thought it was going to be a finished object, but it's not quite. But I'll end up with two beanies out of it. Also, while I was there clicking around, I thought I saw some slipper bottoms, leather slipper bottoms, and I need some more slippers, so I thought I'd buy some slipper bottoms. They're leather, they're fabulous. My feet aren't that big. Oh, that's small. Oh, either way. So all up, I stuffed it. My palm was too big and my shoes was too small. So, note to self, be careful what you click on. I will say though, the order came from yarnish.com.au, and in Mulgoa, New South Wales. They sent a little, yes, sent one of those, and this I thought was rather fancy. Is it organza? With their own little labelling on the ribbon for their little sack. I thought it was rather fancy. So is that what you class as happy mail or whatever it is? We don't actually have a mailbox. We've actually a mail oil can. How happy that can be, I don't know. But now, where was I? Off track again. Knitting. Work in progress. I'm still working on my jumper made out of vintage yarns, vintage DK wool, merino I'm assuming, and vintage mohair, pink vintage mohair, held double, the bottom. It will be, like, it's quite boxy, so I'm quite looking forward to that one. I don't know if I shall get it finished before next winter. Moving on to fluff, with the Tour de Fleece. I'll insert some footage here of me at my spinning wheel on the Van Dyke wheel. excuse, I know this is going to be crinkle warning. Okay, here from Felting You. Can I get this without felting you? There we go. 100 gram in the colourway Theo. And there we go. Some whites, aqua, and like a light caramelly colour through there. There we go, that's a bit better. This is what I'm spinning up to make a cardie. And considering that the main colour is going to be in this colourway, I might actually call it Theo. So my Theo cardie. To be terribly Australian, I won't crinkle that up. And one of the other colourways that I'm using is this one it's again merino again. This one's called Wallaby. So it has the caramelly colour still in it, but it has some orange and yellows in it. I've also got another one called Cupcake, which is it's got the yellows, it's got some greens, it's a lot brighter, it's a bit of a party mix. So I'm combining these. When it spins up, it's quite muted. A lot of the white tends to take over and make it quite a pale coloured yarn. And what I want to do, have it as raglan construction, top down, and using the other, these are called his or her Felting You's freckle colourway. So the colours are spots throughout, so it's not a full tonal or solid colour. Here we go, back again after a bit of a short break. My husband came in and yeah, there we go. I'll put some footage in of his little interaction at the end. Last bit of knitting. I know I was on spinning, and I'll continue with that. We'll go down to the studio and I'll actually show you the spun yarn from those bits of fluff that I was talking about. The last bit of knitting is, it's been a work in progress for, geez, I don't know. When did Find Your Fade come out? Was it 3 years ago? Yeah, that long ago. I started it with all good intentions, and I think I may have shown it on the first podcast. Now, every time I pull it out, I think, oh, I really like this. Oh, it's so big, it's so squishy, it's fabulous. But then I think about working on it, and all that, the warm fuzzy feeling just goes and disappears, and it's replaced with sort of yuck. Anyway, I don't think it's nearly, it must be over 6 foot long, and I've just passed, I maybe just past halfway. Honestly, the thought of working on it to finish it, ugh. And I've got scarves. It's just going to be just that little bit too big. If I want a blanket, I'd make a blanket. I don't think I'm ever going to wear it in public. I've done it with, as you can see, this is the same yarn as my wood warrior. It's DK-ish, it's too big. So, and I'm sure I could make something else a lot more, I don't know, wearable, usable, all of the above. God damn it. Right, so, there we go. There's my needles. There's my stitch marker. And I've been looking for these needles quite a few times. Ta-da! Liberated, fly, be free. So, there we have it. There's a ball of wool somewhere. Is that it? Yeah, maybe. Oh my god. As you can see, it's just, it's a mess. No, it's not even the right ball of wool. My god. Excuse me. Oh, where is the right ball? There it is. And probably being, oh no, there we go. I was going to say, probably being a fluffy yarn, it's going to be an absolute mongrel to undo. So, there we go. I'm not going to unravel the whole lot or frog it. As you can see, there it goes. Liberate the yarn to be something, to become what it was meant to be. Something loved and worn and cherished, and not something to be languishing in the bottom of a bag. Look at me, I'm making fluff everywhere. Look, there, floaties. You get to that point where you think, right, it's gone. So, I'll meet you down the bottom. It doesn't really sound right, does it? Yeah, but that's what we say. We're up the top in the house or down the bottom in the studio. So I'll meet you down in the studio and I'll show you that spinning, the yarn that I've already done up. There's some merino there, and I've done some of one of the, what do you call it? A bump? A plait? A braid? 100 gram braid of Theo, 100% merino, from Felting U. There you go. Welcome to the studio. And I think you're a little bit, oh, sorry about that. Is that straighter? I've got a different setup here. I've got my phone and I'm not quite sure where to look. I'll try. Do my best. I was talking about spinning. Sorry, I have my fibre here. And For the Tour de Fleece, I have worked on, let me get this, sorry for the crinkle. This is the braid that I got from Felting You, or one of them that I got from Felting You, and I've spun one of these up. It's a 100 gram braid of merino, hand painted, and this is it. Now, turn from braid into this. Now I've washed and hung it, and it's hanging fairly straightly. I'm actually quite pleased with this effort. My first efforts were, now this one, and it's just straight merino, and as you can see it's underspun to really, there's a spring, so, oh, here's a classic bit. I've got, can we see that? Yeah, corkscrew, yay! Overspun directly to immediately after underspun, or vice versa. Yeah, I'm learning. So this is art yarn, and oh, don't know what oil I've put with that, but it smells fabulous. This will be, I don't know, I will knit it up. It'll be a beanie of some sort. Now I've got this one, and I went to, excuse me while as if I don't skein them back up. So there's that one where I have underspun and overspun, and this one here is predominantly overspun. As you can see, it's twisty and I've washed and set this, so it's, yeah, there we go, it's pretty much overspun. So I was thinking, if I apply this with that, I'll definitely get some art yarn. I don't know, but this one here, can we see, is a lot finer, and it's gone very dark. I'll just see if I can adjust. Can I? Yes, there we go. It's, yeah, what can I say? Overspun, yeah, to the max, and then also underspun, but yeah, it's a learning process, and I had fun doing it, except when I got sucked all into the is it where you're spinning. I ended up with a whole piece of fluff wrapped in and around the mother of all. Oop, yep, and that needs a bit of work. There we go. And then we came and I thought about it for a while, and then hopped on YouTube, and I'm quite pleased with this. It's plied up, 2-ply, and it's fairly consistent. I still have some, I found that I need to slightly overspin, but not as much as getting corkscrews and pigtails. And then when I ply it up, it's unwinding. So in the bits where I was just a little bit too loose, it's still strong, but it's just, I've just have to become a little slightly more consistent. But I'm happy with that. There's some underspun. There's a little... It's minute compared to the other ones in the overspinning. So I'm happy with that. And I think that will, you know, to be... I think it's... in comparison to some of the vintage yarns that I've got, it's DK, but it could be a heavy. Can you have a heavy DK? Yeah. I was aiming. Oh, my scanning is not that. Oh, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's kind of like a heavy DK, and the colour, being colourway Theo, has some aqua. If you can see that in there, some aqua to some pale caramelly, and the white. So there's a bit of underspun there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just like that. And I'm aiming for that colourway to be the main body of the cardie. And then I'll combine it with sorry for the crinkling. This colour, which I've shown you previously, is Wallaby. This one, which is Cupcake, I think I may have shown you previously. And this one, which I've split up for to be spun, is Marshmallow. Excuse me. And what I want to do is, I don't know, I can't remember. Oh, this stuff that in is to have those different colourways around the yoke, around the arms, and maybe around the bottom of the cardie, to like a faux colour work in my hand spun. So that's the ultimate project for me, to learn to spin and to be part of the Tour de Fleece. I'll give it a go. I've yet to post any progress pictures on anywhere. And here we are in yet another corner of the studio, the painting corner. I was in the talking corner, the machine knitting, the spinning, and now I'm in the painting corner. I entered into an art exhibition in Brisbane. I think it was called the Lions Art Extravaganza in Brisbane. I think it was run through Westfield shopping centres, and I got a highly commended. So yeah, the next I have boards and things right behind where you are, just right there. I have boards on the go. I will finish this. This thing here has been languishing. It's a bit like my Find Your Fade. I get all enthusiastic and go, yeah, I'll do this, and paint, get it all up, and then it's sort of, you don't know, the mojo goes. And that's where it stayed. And now it's like, finish it. And I find that those paintings that I don't get finished within a week or a couple of weeks, depending, excuse me, they tend to languish, and ultimately they're not that good. And that's what I'm thinking about this one behind me. It looks okay there, but I don't know. So there you go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and yes, thank you for being here. If you like please like, do that, and comments please, and subscribe, send me an email, send me a contact, say hi, and I'll say hi back at you. Cheers, and remember to be the best person that you can be. Top of my head. It's hard.
It's very good.
Yeah, you can point at something and it's like...
That was good. Right, nothing wrong with the mouth. This bit over here.
Here to the left of me.
It's a lot of work.
To the left of me.